Yeah, I would say that does, based on the statistics, slightly favor. But of course, with them starting on the CT side, I would think it's a little bit closer. Bit starting off with a nice kill, but isn't Pop Dog now with 10 HP? Will still get the headshot on JR. Good job from Bit. The last three players pushing towards Ivy, which has been at least partially read, but Onkar chimes in with another kill. Oh, this is just execution. One bullet, one kill coming around from Navi Juniors, all on problem, but he is exactly his name right now. He does have a massive problem. Gospa will even win that last duel, upgrade his pistol for the P250, and that is going to be a clean opening round for Navi Junior.
And that's really where Navi Junior are at their strengths. No utility involved. They can just strafe out into dry gunfights and win out those engagements. Good work from Bit finding that follow-up kill into Pop Dog, as well as it just extended that Navi Junior advantage without losing an additional player. HELLRAISERS now have to take the full eco without a bomb plant, and that means their buy is going to be a bit troubled in this next round, especially if they can't secure a plant in this one. It's going to be a bit of a rough start to the T side, but you obviously expect to go 3-0 down after the loss of the pistol.
Yeah, the fact that they also didn't get any USP kills or Glock kills earlier on is a little bit problematic. That extra $300 is always much needed for the little bit of utility later on, but not going up for extra armor, so they're going for that full buy in the third. Very nice decision making from HELLRAISERS. I like the fact that they're not going for the extra armor. It's not like you necessarily need it that much with the Deagles. It's just the jiggle peek dance, see if you can get a headshot, which is what Jalen is trying to get right there, but he gets tagged down nicely by the Navi Juniors side of things. And all in all, it's just a little bit of poking and prodding, jumping around the ladder of Pop Dog, try and bait out some Navi aggression that might cost them their lives. But goes back towards the B side, spots a player out, tosses his HE grenade, but is playing with that P250 that he saved from last round, so he can save by that op later. And it seems to be enough right now with Jalen, the last man standing. Deagle still in hand, is going to peek long range towards Ivy, but it is going to be Uncat to shut him down. And a very clean round again from Navi Junior, not losing a single soul.
HELLRAISERS are yet to find a kill so far on their map pick, and it's going to be a very difficult round here, even with the full buy. They have to drop down onto Galil's just to get some utility out on the board. They have no nades whatsoever. If I was HELLRAISERS, I might have even made the call just to go for another Deagle armor round to make sure you have more utility available in the next one. It's so difficult on train to get anything done without those grenades. You rely upon the speed and aim of those. Oh, what?
He got double mollied and he was completely stuck. He knew he could not run anywhere without dying. Nice. I mean, that's the thing. As you said, I expected personally that they'd go for the eco in this one, or a Deagle with their Deagle last round. If you're going to go for a full force buy, you should just go full eco behind it in the second round, because it is nearly impossible on this map without any utility. If he had the utility that he needed, he would have smokes in that round so that he could at least defend himself there, or a teammate could. But because they only have one smoke and one molly left on the HELLRAISERS side, they are in absolute turmoil right now. They don't have anything to use. Bit is going to get shut down by JR, so a nice catch coming out 4-4, and they're trying to get Topa to peek wide from Pop Dog to get the kill in, and Topa is not going to give him that one just yet. Just playing the jiggle peek game so that Gospa is going to be guarded safely. Gospa gets the kill on Kalinka. Bomb is dropped. That is the intel that they desperately need. They are going to double up in Pop Dog, but immediately jump back upside. They still need to recover that bomb. 30 seconds left on the clock. And that nade is going to seal the deal. Round is over. They should not be able to retrieve that bomb and get the plant in time. I assume, I mean, yeah, they're just going to save their weapons into the next one for HELLRAISERS. That is unfortunate, but it is the case of the game.
There was just nothing they could get done. I mean, it was totally lacking utility. What could they do at that point? An early AWPs come out from the CT side, so you have to dry peek into it if you want to go in towards A. They've got Molotovs up on that CT half, so if you want to go into B, you're just going to be ripped apart by flames and HEs. Just nothing they could really get done there, absent the necessary utility, and they're probably going to have to take another eco in this round as well. Not buying around the 2 rifles they have on the board may be the right call, although Flaric and Problem, they won't really be able to invest up with the rest of the team in the next one. It's a good timing on this technical pause for HELLRAISERS, because they need to have a bit of a discussion about their early half economics. You really don't want to let Na'Vi Jr. build up an early scoreline on the CT half, because then their money is going to be in a great spot for the rest of the half.
Yeah, you pretty much the way to beat this Na'Vi Junior squad on a map like Train is make sure Ghostbot doesn't pick up an op, or they possibly get themselves a double op situation later on, which could be even more deadly, because this is one of the biggest double op maps out there in the pool as well. You can place 1A, 1B, and you pretty much have a solid defense all together. They are gonna buy a little bit behind it, but that is to be expected, because they should have a reasonable-ish buy into the next. Not the greatest, of course. As you said, they have 2 players that saved their weapons previously, so they will be in a little bit of trouble. But if they manage to get a bomb plant in, that is already a lot. Capacho is jiggle peeking towards B, is waiting for them to peek in so he can toss his nade, fall back towards site and call the rotations. Throws on the smoke. Unfortunately, is not a molly, but he gets a double spray down. Triple, never mind, and the bomb is dropped as well. JR will at least get himself 1 gun for his trouble, but it is now on JR and Kalinka to try and turn this one around, and it does seem like this round is already over.
This is a very strong start from the Na'Vi Junior side. Not much for HELLRAISERS to work with again in this round, but still, that execution from Capacho and the fact that he's still alive over on B, it means so much for Na'Vi Junior. They can stack up with all 4 now and just protect the bomb, and HELLRAISERS sort of know they have to go for this one. It's not going to be much that they're doing in the next round anyway. Just some more pistols and armor being brought forward in all likelihood. As I mean, Jalem and Kalinka, they have 17 and 1500. That's not really enough, I don't think, to get utility out alongside the full rifles, especially if they want an AWP on the board. That would have to be in the hands of JR, and he's trying to deal more late round damage here to keep that CT economy in check, but he's struggling even to make his way out of connector. It's the nade that finishes it off for Capacho on a quad kill. And HELLRAISERS, I mean, if they want to buy here, what are they going to have nades-wise? It looks as though Jalem and co might be okay, but some players are going to be lacking utility-wise, or they're going to have to drop down onto a Galil.
Yeah, they are going to drop down to those Galils with utility. Now they at least have pretty much all the utility they need. Waiting for the moment, of course, where HELLRAISERS will go for that eco on JR so he can pick up that T-side op. So you can contest these long-range engagements. Player in Jalem already got spotted out. Bit sprays him down through the smoke. Opening kill coming out for Na'Vi Jr. And again, HELLRAISERS. Oh, that's a good nade on top of JR as well. Bit's doing a lot of work on that A defense so far.
JR just catches that grenade with his face, but Kalinka has actually found the kill back onto Bit, trying to extend out, but that flash, of course, it's perfect. Topa's allowed to swing out a pop dog and get a freebie, and actually he picks up another one onto Flaric as well. They were thinking about dropping down, and instead the flashes they deploy, they go behind Topa. He's on 99 health and still willing to fight for his angle. It's JR who gets the kill back on an aggressive Ornka, but Topa has not stopped fragging. Perfectly timed flashbang again. This time for HELLRAISERS, it blinds Topa, but he's able to find a kill, and Gospodarov has taken down JR. This is looking very dangerous for HELLRAISERS on the T side of their own pick.
They haven't even gotten close to a bomb plant in any of these rounds. I think none of them they've even reached the bomb site.
No.
So they've just been stopped in their tracks so far. They have a total of 5 kills in 5 rounds. That's 1 kill per round on the HELLRAISERS side. And as you can see, Gospa and Carpaccio haven't even died just yet. So all in all, Navi Jr., they've got a lot of money in their bank. They've got everything on their side right now. Of course, a good tactical timeout hopefully might change things for Hellraisers, but this is not really a great buy on their side. So I don't have that much faith in Hellraisers' offense this time, this round. But JR, he is saving that money, so he might actually pick up the op into the next, and that is what I'm waiting for. When they finally have full AKs, the op picked up, and full utility, and see what kind of strats Hellraisers still have left, because what they've shown so far has not been enough.
It really hasn't, and you can't allow players like Gospodarov to keep getting through rounds like this without dying. It's going to mean so much for the Na'Vi Junior economy that they don't have to be reinvesting into that AWP time and time again. And look at the timing. They're just playing brilliantly like a team at the moment, Na'Vi Junior. That is a beautiful shot from Jalem to at least get one back for Hellraisers, but it's still the CTs who are way out ahead of this round. Bit can't quite find Kalinka towards Ivy, so you're definitely seeing the damage that these Deagles can do, but the Na'Vi Junior squad, just off of that early B play, they look like they're working very cohesively as a team at the moment.
Yeah, they also have bomb control up in Brown Halls. Topa gets himself another, doesn't know where Jalem is just yet. Will probably get shot from behind. Nope, the shots come in, and he should be able to try and stay safe right now. Jalem has no idea really where Topa is, but the rest of the team from Na'Vi Junior is trying to help out Topa, who's down to 15 HP. The flank from Topa comes in as well, and that's going to be 6-0 for Na'Vi Junior. Their CT side looking really good, and the fact that they start on it might just be the nil, and just a big problem for Hellraisers that they did not manage to secure the favorite site.
Well, in Malta vibes, we have seen teams that start strong and then weaken in the half, and that's what Hellraisers really need to be hoping is going to happen for this Na'Vi Junior squad at the moment. You cannot afford to give them any more rounds without scoring. Got to make a presence on the board at some point, otherwise their economy is just going to run away, and you can't really beat a CT side on train that just has all of the trimmings. Double AWPs and full utility. How many of those rounds back to back do you think you can win as a T side when Ornka's hitting shots like that? Hellraisers, they need to find an answer to their troubles very soon indeed.
Yeah, and the thing is, he made that jump first as well. Jalem pretty much is dying half these rounds to utility, but just in general, Anker, like, he spotted out JR making that jump peek to scout if anyone's up on top of the train. Then he went for it a second time, and Anker was just holding down that jump. A great flick nonetheless. It's very hard to hit that one, but he did expect it to come through, and massive defense from Na'Vi Junior so far. Will they expect the players so close? Problem is actually not playing that trigger discipline. Could have gotten behind the second player as well. A little bit more intel, but he got spooked right there and immediately pulled that trigger. Luckily, they do still have bomb control on Flarage, but 35 seconds on the clock. They have 3 players close towards that A side. He's going to have to play the round of his life to try and turn this one around. I think he spotted the barrel there of a player. Ooh. But he's actually, yeah, he spotted the barrel a bit. And we'll wait for the re-peek from Anker. Op shot comes out, spots Gospa towards Ivy, but of course, time ticking down, angles being held. Gospa is not going to miss that shot, and it's going to be 7-0 for Na'Vi Junior.
Gospodarov still yet to die, and now we have an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. If you use the promo codes MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve with Hellcase. Hellraisers, speaking about saving more, they're going to have to do it in this one to try and get the utility out by the looks of things. Just pistols and armor to work with, and this is going very badly wrong at the start of this map of Train. This is supposed to be the second weakest map in the pool for Na'Vi Junior. They've played it just 3 times in the last 3 months. That shows me at least that they're trying to avoid this map in the majority of series, but at the moment, they are absolutely cleaning Hellraisers away. They've yet to plant the bomb on the T side.
They've yet to even attempt to plant the bomb on the T side. I haven't heard those numbers being ticked in at all so far, and it might actually just be, you know, their secret weapon on Navi Junior. No one really picks the map against them. Even though they always perma-ban out nuke themselves. So they might practice this map a lot, but just no one wants to duel them on it. And it seems HELLRAISERS tried to go for the gamble, but so far it's not paid off. And it is absolutely a very good, clean showing from Navi. Very impressed in general, but also a little bit disappointed in HELLRAISERS' tactics.
Indeed, and we are just getting a bit of an update on this technical pause for you. It does look like problems just having some TeamSpeak issues that appear to have been resolved as this in-pause is coming through. I can still hear chat going through, so I'm never quite sure that the unpause is going to be finalized until we actually see the round occur, but it does look like they are gearing up and getting ready to go then. Let's hope those TeamSpeak issues aren't impacting HELLRAISERS too badly at the moment. It's not like I've just been seeing Problem go out on his own and get wrecked, though, unfortunately. It's just been the fragging. HELLRAISERS have not been in positions to get kills. They've just been locked out of bomb sites by utility.
They haven't even gone for any solid executes. Not a single one. Not B, not A. They've just been playing a default and being absolutely rinsed by their default. Problem gets taken down first, but Jalem will at least get the kill onto Carpaccio. They managed to pick up Galil for their troubles, and it does seem to possibly be actually they're playing on top of Pop Dog with the bomb there. They're heading towards the A site. With their, I mean, I want to see some smokes, mollies, flashes, something to make sure that Navi Junior don't have full vision of this HELLRAISER squad, because that's the thing that they're lacking the entire time. They're just not executing together.
It certainly feels that way. It feels as though they're trying to send these early players in to peek the bomb sites, and I mean, they're not even managing to accomplish anything. They're just being shut down immediately by Ornka and co at long range. It feels like it's Ornka responsible for getting those opening T-Con kills, and it's Ornka who's got the first kill on the A bomb site this time as well. JR low and removed from the round as the AWPs just keep firing down that shooting gallery. JR tries to turn away from the utility, may catch an AWP turned around and may get bit on the bomb train. Instead, though, it is the highest statistical player on average for Navi Junior who finishes off the round, and Gospodarov still yet to die in the half. We're now 9 rounds in.
Yeah, I mean, this time they went for the execute, but they just spread out and no one pounced. I mean, it's just, again, the lacking of the actual teamwork on HELLRAISER so far. They definitely should be able to get on site if they just throw down a wall of smokes, which should deny almost all possible vision from the Navi Junior squad. But they're trying to, again, right there, going for those first peeks, see if they can get themselves a spot out. Gospa gets a shot in on Problem, and that is going to be the opening frag in favor of Navi Junior, with them being able to rotate towards that A site again. They played 3 aggressive towards B because HELLRAISERS also, they have not gone for any aggressive moves. There's going to be a boost as well towards Connector. He gets the kill onto JR. JR falls and a repeat. Gospa drops the bomb as well. Now it's all on Jalem and Flare's just... Wait, look, Flare's just everything still left in his inventory. All 4 pieces of utility, nothing used. Now he finally throws out the flash, but where is that utility usage earlier? Jalem just goes for a random shot and will get spotted out, but they will at least be able to keep up the double op on Navi Junior without investing too much. Gospa even on 12k right now, but finally they managed to take him down, but 9-0 and just no redeeming qualities at all from HELLRAISERS.
I don't even have any answers for them on the T side, to be honest with you. I think they need to just try a full-out B execution, because on the A side of the map, those AWPs are just shredding them at the moment. That was a very nasty round to watch. HELLRAISERS had nothing to say to Gospodarov as he fired shot after shot into their attack and continually denied their efforts. You can see how confident they feel because Carpaccio goes so aggressive towards the back of B. He's up this ramp time and time again, having a cheeky little peek, and Well, I mean, even when he went down in the round prior to the last one, he was still able to find a kill off the back of it. Those are positions that the CTs should not be finding anything in. This time, Hellraisers are setting up that B execution, but they don't have the weaponry to support this utility.
Yeah, but finally we might see them reach a bomb site, because B is pretty much the easiest to reach the bomb site. If you just make sure that Gapacho doesn't get his shots off, the smoke's deep as well. They execute coming out. They still haven't heavily rotated on the Navi Junior side. Gapacho on site is not going to get spotted just yet. Drops the bomb even.
What?
I'm so lost at what this is. Why is the bomb not just planting?
There's two players still in the back of B, waiting for late round utility. What is happening, Hellraisers? What is this T side? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Problem, he's found an opener, but that was so disjointed. I mean, wow. Nobody able to find Capacho as he just flies through the front of the smoke and picks up a second kill. 10-0. This is going very poorly for the Hellraisers side. And, I mean, it just screams out to me that they've run out of ideas.
I mean, they definitely should have more ideas, because they haven't really shown anything yet. I know that you can lose the aim duels, you can have a bad day, whatever, but I mean, that's just simple. The guy with the bomb goes for the plant, the rest covers him, and that's easy. Now there's going to be quick aggression coming out from Hellraisers, finally showing some form of life. However, it is going to be pretty much the advantage from Hellraisers right there. They get the opening. Sorry, for Navi Junior. They get the opening. They get themselves shut down completely, and now Flarich is all alone, and there's even a flank coming up from top. Flarich with the bomb in hand will head towards that B site. Capacho's actually pretty tagged up, so he could definitely get on top of that B site. Depending on the timing here, and it does seem that Flarich, he's getting close, but will Capacho spot him out in time? He's already behind the gray train. Might go all the way towards connector here.
Ooh.
And flank on towards that A site. Let's see his trigger discipline come through.
Well, this could be the first bomb plant that Hellraisers have had in the map, and I don't think you saw it in the A bomb site, but Jalen 1G'd himself on the way out of Pop Dog there, died in his own Molotov. Is why I was having
was
bit
that his
of a
own Molotov?
chuckle. Yeah. Just check that top kill feed, and well, Flarich, oh god, that is horrible. I mean, if that is not just a microcosm of what's going on in this map for Hellraisers, I don't know what is. It's chaotic in the bomb site. Jalen dies in his own molly, and then Flarich spends all that time walking around on the flank just to have his head torn off by Ornka at the end. This is all going disastrously for Hellraisers.
And that one definitely does hurt the most right there, going for that big slow walk all across the world, just the entire map done, and then eventually getting shut down by Deeg, who turns his around and gets the 1D to your face, pretty much telling the entire story of this game. But yeah, so Jalen, as you said, he 1G'd himself, so he's been dying to enemy utility the entire time, but now also his own. That's oh, that's sad. He's died, I think, by 3 mollies this game and 1 nade.
It's definitely been a rough one for, I mean, the vast majority of this Hellraisers squad. There's not a single player over 5 kills at this point in time, I don't think. There are only 4 rounds left in the half. Ornka up close and personal with that AWP. No fear for the Navi Junior squad at the moment, and why should they be afraid? Hellraisers haven't really looked like winning a round at any point in time. Ornka does have to bail away, but Pitt is able to bail him out atop the green train. 2 easy kills. Topa's sat in Pop Dog now. Problem, are you going to drop into your death for the chance of a late round kill? Topa, he has traditionally walked forward, and he'll do it again. Just takes that gunfight and wins it out. Not a single player from Hellraisers above 5 kills at the moment. I don't even know if they'll get there by the end of the half. Maybe JR might, but this is just, I don't think I've seen a worse start to a series from a squad.
Yeah, and they did just manage to beat Onerous on Vertigo, so this makes me I mean, it still makes me very anxious for the second map, if they won't be able to recover from these jitters. But it does look very much like the first map can all just be said and done. Shove it away, on to the next, because this is just absolutely disastrous. This is just sad right now. I can't say it's, this is almost 16-0 territory, and that's where you never want to see that happen to any. Well, I personally love to see it, but they definitely don't want to have it happen. Kalinka on a good flank, though. Unkar close range. Gets taken down. Okay. Picks up the off. Will this be? Nope. Bit shuts him down. And towards Pop Dog, Chopa gets himself 1 for his troubles, which is already a lot more than expected with him being on 6 HP. But the flank immediately coming through towards Pop. Ooh. Jumps down. Will get caught out. Carpaccio, if he just waited a little bit longer, could have held it. But they can go towards, they could possibly go towards the B site. You still have to get past Gospa with his big boy op, and we spot the players coming through the smoke. He just did, and he won't miss that shot. Gospa is absolutely feeling it this map. And now JR trying to crawl away, trying to crawl forward. He, by the way, has 5 frags, so yay, someone at least got to that point. But
look at that, man.
What? Yeah.
That is just shows you exactly how confident Na'Vi Jr. are. JR is sat there waiting with an AK, trying to win a 1-on-2 clutch, waiting for a flank player, and Gospodarov literally just swings out with a P250 and body shots him down. That is confidence incarnate. Na'Vi Jr. taking no prisoners on train.
Yeah, that was that was just strange. Just he was holding down that lower ramp the entire time, and yeah, not even a second thought about the fact that the player that was close range with the op could peek him there. We do see some mollies and smokes flying out. Will their execute be good enough on Hellraiser's side? This time they're going to peek towards Ivy. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. Man advantage coming in for Hellraisers. Jalem is already on site, and yeah, he's got that complete site lockdown. All he has to be careful of right now is mollies and nades.
Well, this could be the first round for Hellraisers, but Topa's reaggressed into Ivy and taken down Kalinka. That's brought it back into a 3-on-3 scenario, and the bomb is absolutely miles away, despite control of this bomb train being afforded to the Hellraiser squad. That bomb still has to rotate in and plant. It doesn't look like there are any players from Na'Vi Jr. that are positioned to deny this, but Jalem swinging out there needs to be careful. Does convert that kill importantly, and so can back away and give himself some more breathing room. Gospodarov's at close range with his AWP. In fact, he's actually going to get a kill onto Jalem. Problem takes him down in the end, but Carpaccio has been given some time to rotate in now. The fake plant coming through from Problem. Flaric is waiting to punish a push through smoke here, but Carpaccio knows he doesn't have to go until the plant is committed to. Instead, it is Flaric that cleans him down. Still no bomb plant for Hellraisers, though, as we are entering the last round of their T-side.
But at least they finally break the mold. It will not be a 16-0. So that is, that's something. I guess. I guess. I mean, it's at least not being absolutely destroyed. They now have a shot at getting their second round. Maybe the pistol, get themselves at 5 if they're feeling it. You never know. I've seen, comebacks come through, but it's probably going to end in 14-1 with that opening kill coming through from Topa. JR's holding that op angle, but he's held that angle so many times and lost the duel at time and time again.
Well, JR, he's gotten the frag back, and Topa, though, he's pushing into T-Con. JR turns from the flash, and so can reply, but it's 3-on-3 now, and Hellraisers perhaps need to readjust their strategy. They're trying to dump utility down into Pop Dog, but this time, Topa is nowhere nearby. He fell going for those aggressive T-Con kills, and now Na'Vi Jr. pushing forward, want to be careful, as there is a T-side crossfire set up, ready and waiting for them. Instead, Bit rotates away, and Ornka's shadow is spotted out by JR, but he doesn't adjust quickly enough for the kill. That's allowed Ornka a second on to Jalem now, and Flaric alone in a 1v3 scenario does have the bomb on his back, but needs to clear out a CT AWPer before it's safe to plant.
It just seems like Hellraisers are like AFK. I mean, right there, you see the shadow ages before he actually gets the peek in, and that should just give you enough cues coming through to get that shutdown. Flarage trying to go for the flank, but is going to face into a double peek, and Carpaccio shuts him down. 14-1, pretty reasonable CT side from Navi Jr. I would personally probably not pick this map against them. I mean, I'm not so sure if it's necessarily Navi Jr.'s defense being that amazing or just Hellraiser's offense being very lackluster.
I think the second scenario is the more likely one in that situation. You rarely ever see a scoreline like 14-1 unless something is going severely wrong for a team. Our partners over at LootBet, I mean, that's fairly obvious at this point in time. There's a bit of a look in, perhaps for Hellraisers, a slight chance to claim this, but at 14-1 down, without this pistol round, everything is all said and done. It probably already is all said and done here on Train. And looking ahead to Vertigo, as Navi Jr.'s pick for the second map, Hellraisers, they might just be in trouble for the series.
I kind of find that just in general strange. I mean, the fact that they even got 1.07 odds, I would say just a straight up 1. It probably is already locked right now, because don't really think that there's too much that anyone expects from them. Oh, the dualies coming out from Problem. It's going to be the B execute from Navi Jr. close range. Carpaccio. It is going to be Problem falling, but Gospodarov does chime in as well. A one-man advantage coming through. They're going to at least get the bomb on site in their first round as terrorists on this Navi Junior squad. They're even going to get the full plant in, and that is something that Hellraisers have not managed to achieve on their T side. So Jalen, good flank coming out. Kalinka gets himself a kill onto Onker, and well, Topa, there's no diffuse kit, there is no smoke, and Jalen is going to try and hunt Topa down, who is going to be playing around as much as possible, but he still has enough time for that full defuse without the kit.
Well, Hellraisers, they're going to stay alive at least for a little bit here on Train. Jalen really carrying that pistol round with 3 vital kills and closing it out for the one-on-one clutch at the end. It's 2 rounds at bare minimum for Hellraisers, probably going to be 3, but Navi Jr. actually decide they don't want to be ecoing in the second round. They'd rather shut the door very early on. I'd say at 14-2, it really is just a matter of time. I mean, Hellraisers, they probably have to get up to 11 before Navi Jr. put another round on the board if I want to even consider a possibility of a comeback here.
Yeah, but as you said, Navi Jr. want to shut it down right now. They pick up 3 AKs, and every kill pretty much is an upgrade for Navi Jr.'s added players in Bit and Topa. Kind of surprised that Bit's not playing with the AK here. He's one of their star fraggers. It's Onker, Gospa, and Bit that are their 3 best players. Kalinka does get the opening kill though. JR gets heavily tagged, but now Problem on that B side has to hold a possible push. The rotations are not going to be made just yet. It is going to be Navi Jr. playing with the time a little bit longer.
They drop those Ivy smokes as well to keep 3 players committed towards A, but the issue for Navi Jr. is as soon as they go for this B execution, Hellraisers are going to come straight up Pop Dog and go for the quick rotation. So they're going to have to get in the site rather quickly to secure that plant. JR, he's already rotated over into this B bomb site, so that scout's available to take players like Bit and Topa down without the body armor, although it is moving around, perhaps back towards the A bomb site. They get a little bit paranoid towards this late round Ivy take as the utilities deployed. Problem pushes at the absolute perfect time. JR is opening up with big shots as well, and Navi Jr. do not find the kill in their force. They eco now to allow Hellraisers up onto 4 and full buy in number 19.
Easy comeback incoming. No chance for Navi Jr., or is there? It's going to be a pretty long mountain still to climb. It is. I mean, of course, it's not impossible, but it's very improbable that Navi Jr. won't be able to snuff this one out. We saw that in their opening round already. A decent enough execute. Once they have the full weapons and utility, I assume that Navi Jr. will have at least a decent amount of strats they can throw at Hellraiser. There's going to be a peek out wide of Ivy, and it's up against Glocks pretty much, so that's not really going to result in any damage to the Hellraiser's economy.
Still perhaps a chance for Bit and Gospodarov to find some tags, but I don't really know what Bit's trying to accomplish. Just jumping out and looking for map control there. Avoids the grenade, but Kalinka out towards Ivy should be able to put these pistols away now as he spotted out Gospodarov. The rest of his team are going to push in and hunt for a kill, but that is the easy fourth to Hellraisers that we were expecting. Now the full buy comes through, and now an opportunity for Na'Vi Jr. to earn that map point.
Gospa can even pick up an op if he so pleases. Pretty much the most interesting choice right now. Is he going to go for it and then just body armor? He is up against a JR op, so it might actually be very beneficial. Kalinka, by the way, is over 10 frags right now, so that is more than I would have expected from how the game was going, but it is going to be Gospa on the AK as well. So 4 AKs, full utility for Na'Vi Jr., and they're going to go for an aggressive Ivy peek. Kalinka and JR are going to double stack towards Ivy. It's going to be the flash out. Kalinka will drop the bomb, so that's good intel gain. Gets himself a kill, falls back without any harm really being done. And JR is even backing up Kalinka. However, they're getting a little bit aggressive here. But it's not going to... Yeah, they just tried to go for the boost, but it's not going to result in anything. My boy, Protalis, what do you think Na'Vi Jr.'s plans are going to be right now with a man down?
Well, at the moment, it looks as though they're just going to want to go for a standard utility deployment into the A-bomb site. That's rather heavily stacked at this point in time. And the fact that they only need 2 rounds should make this half just so easy for them. They just have to pressure one small mistake, and while it looks unlikely they'll win this round, if they change the pace in later ones, perhaps with a Deagle Tech 9 buy, something in that vein, they'll have better chances of claiming victory. Actually, though, Bit's gotten a second kill, so this does get dangerous until Flarich opens up and keeps that man advantage in the favor of the Hellraisers. Now, this spray down, all this push through the smoke even, could have been big there. But instead, it's Flarich who shuts things down. Bit gets one onto Kalinka, but Hellraisers, they hang on to things. Na'Vi Jr. now, with a quick round and some pistols, could have a chance to steal away a bomb plant and a quick conversion, and that's the real threat for Hellraisers. They are really never safe at this point in time.
Yeah, just one mistake is enough for Na'Vi Jr. to get on to map point. There's going to be a small buy on Na'Vi Jr. I think Gospa even got himself an a scout drop from a teammate, so good friendship coming through. JR gets the opening kill on Oncare, but that scout, let's see if Gospa can at least get himself a kill for his teammates' troubles. Could be possible to get at least 1, maybe 2 if they go for a full rush towards that A side, but they are running out of utility on Na'Vi Jr., so it is problematic. Big nade coming in from Hellraisers, and it's just waiting until that Hellraisers utility has cleared out, the smokes are gone, and they can get themselves some vision gained on Na'Vi Jr.
They want to start finding some kills relatively soon because this Hellraiser's economy is starting to pull away a little bit. Problem's nearly on 10k. Flarich is over 5. So there are buys in the bank for the CT squad. And they should be able to take control of this round as well for Hellraisers. I can't see this one going in favor of Na'Vi Jr. now that they've only got 1 flashbang remaining. They're going to try and pump that into the A-bomb site and hope for some quick headshots. It would be great if they could land though, but these rifles look like they should be shutting things down. Problem and Kalinka open up with Jalem to finish it off. It is a 6th round for the Hellraisers, but a full buy coming back out now for Na'Vi Jr. At no point in time are the Hellraisers safe at this scoreline.
It's another one to see how long they can hold on here. Hellraisers still need 8 rounds to at least tie the score with Na'Vi Juniors, and they cannot forfeit. I mean, forfeiting 1 is already too much to forfeit. As you said, around if they manage to get around 11-14, I might start to hope a little bit for this Hellraiser squad. They're gonna double up. They have some very good defensive strats on Hellraisers that they're using, but their offensive strats have just been lackluster. Luckily, swapping sides does change a lot for your team, and they do pick up that man advantage. Again, it's pretty much round after round right now that Hellraisers are picking up that opening kill. Topa spots out Jalem, but doesn't get a bullet against him. Just a little bit of harassment. They are going to push towards Ivy. Slowly but surely on the Na'Vi Junior side. They have 3 players there. Peek out wide from Kalinka, but doesn't spot a player just yet. Now executed. Gospa actually got the kill with the op. And Ivy is pretty much open. We have JR still around with the op, but it's at least going to keep the opper from Hellraisers occupied. Well, the rest of Na'Vi Junior, with their heavy amount of utility that they still have left, they can definitely go for a solid execute. Possibly towards the A side, flush out some areas and get some aggression going in. It's going to be the pop dog smoked off. And a flash over top. Counter flash coming out. JR misses the shot though. Luckily, Jalem does chime in for a kill onto Topa. Molly's going to deter this Na'Vi Junior push. But there is a player towards Ivy. He's being scouted out by Problem on... Flarich on site. He spots out the repeat. Time is ticking down though. 12 seconds. But Capacho gets himself 1 kill. 2 kills. It's all on Problem. 1v2. And Gospai can't plant the bomb, so he wants to go for the peak. Will get shut down. I don't know if it was after time or during time, or that's Gospa. He doesn't have any money, so perfect timing on that kill on Gospa. And that is going to be Na'Vi Juniors still on 14, but Hellraisers now on 7, with Na'Vi Juniors pretty much going to have to go for force up on their side because, you know, Gospa has nothing.
No reason for him to be shifting on the bomb site there in that one-on-one. I get that he doesn't want to give his position away, but Problem, I'm pretty sure, or Jalem even, whichever player it was, had a great idea where he was on the bomb site, and with no time left on the clock, you have to commit for kills at that point. There's no chance of being sneaky whatsoever. Na'Vi Junior just shot themselves in the foot a little bit there in terms of timing. A good opportunity to find their 15th, but they can't quite secure it. They do have decent rifles available now, actually, but Hellraisers have got such a better read of their CT side. Look at this. They're already out Ivy, confirming there's no presence. That means they can comfortably stack 3 players into the B-bomb site. With Jalem on a quick rotation, this is going to be a very hard round for Na'Vi Junior to win.
They're playing double up towards upper as well. There's going to be the peek in, but Bit gets the kill on Problem nonetheless. Luckily, JR through the smoke gets himself a shot in. Will they expect flares this close towards sight? It does not seem the case. And it's going to be Onkare on his own, will not get anything done. Jalem gets himself a double for his trouble, and that is Hellraisers on 8. Na'Vi Junior, they've lost 7 rounds in a row the moment they hit that T side, and they're gonna probably have to be semi-ecoing again this one. One strat that I've seen both teams just not go for, I know that it's, you know, not the greatest thing to see, but I haven't seen a full-on straight-up rush from either side.
That is what's confusing. Normally you have at least a couple of those thrown into the T side just to, you know, try and change the pace up a little bit. Start to confuse your opponents. If you get stuck in the same routine as the CT side, deploying utility against a late round play, so it's early smokes and then holding for pushes rather than dropping those early Molotovs and really being prepared for close range angles, you can get stuck in a bit of a rut and not work things out. Na'Vi Junior are going to take the double timeout here to have a bit of a discussion, and this starts to get dangerous now for the Na'Vi Junior side. Hellraisers are very close to putting double digits on the board before you've even scored on your T half. 14-1 is a nightmarish T side for Hellraisers, but let me tell you, if Na'Vi Junior allow their opponents to win this in regulation time or even force overtime, it's even worse from their perspective. They only needed to win 2 rounds, and if they allow their opponents back into the game at this point in time, that's a huge problem for them in the series.
Yeah, that would be a massive blow. I mean, already giving Hellraisers this many rounds is already a massive blow for them. Of course, you would expect this to be a very quick match after 14-1 in the lead. So every round that you play longer on your T side You will definitely feel it into the next one, next rounds. It does seem like it's going to be a full-on Davai rush towards the B side. Will probably be able to hold the line. That he is doing a good job so far. Ankar should get the bomb planted again. Just get the plant in. That's like all you're pretty much supposed to do. No, he does not get the bomb plant. Gets a kill though onto Jalem. Still has the bomb in his control, but does he expect Kalinka? No, he does not. Kalinka with a quick rotation flank. And that is going to be Na'Vi Jr. Well, another round loss. One more and Hellraisers are on double digits. I'm starting to... I would definitely sweat if I was Na'Vi Jr. right now.
Certainly. This could have all been said and done in the pistol. It came down to a one-on-one clutch in that pistol round. Since then, Hellraisers... I mean, there has been one more occasion that it's come down to a one-on-one clutch, but the vast majority of these rounds have looked very comfortable for the CT squad. This time it's Onka who finds the opening kill, though, with a massive change of pace in the A-bomb site. He steals away a second one. Capacho takes down Kalinka now. Could this be where things go wrong for the Hellraisers? All the way up on 9 rounds, but this time it perhaps has been one mistake too many. The flash goes up, Flaric turns away, but can't take down Gospodarov. And Problem now left alone, doesn't get the opening kill. Now at 15-9 down, Hellraisers has their golden period of the CT side been expired.
And all it took was 2 headshots through the smoke. Well, I mean, it paid off. Finally, they managed to get themselves something on this Na'Vi Junior side. They got themselves that much needed 15th on the board. And it pretty much came off a rather aggressive round. Onkar does get heavily tagged. Shot from Kalinka comes in as well. They're double opping right now on Hellraisers. And they get themselves a man advantage. Immediately, Na'Vi Jr. slow down their pace and are just gonna try and play that default setup again. See if that results into a kill, which they could use for their benefit.
Looks like they're currently shifting their targets towards the B side of the map. It's currently the more lightly defended angle, but those tags should prompt a rotation, and they know it. Aggressive positioning being garnered towards Pop Dog as well, so you are going to see that flank come through from Hellraisers. At the moment, Na'Vi Jr. are not aware of that prospect whatsoever. And Jalem is ready and waiting to go up that green ladder. There's an AWP from JR waiting on the other side of the smoke, though. And Gospodarov does get the trade kill there. That is important to find as long as they take down Problem deep in the site. They haven't been able to do it, though. And now they still need to plant with a player on the flank. It looks like they have no idea that Jalem and Flaric are coming from the rear at the moment. Nobody positioned to defend that flank. They'll drop a Molotov, but Gospodarov is not ready for the upper angle push. Bit finds the opening kill, but in a 1-on-2, he has a flank at his back still to worry about. Kalinka at close range has the AWP, but that's the important kill for Bit to find. He's taken down Flaric, brought it into a 1-on-1, and Kalinka has to push forward with this AWP. He knows it. The Molotov can even go down onto the bomb. It's all going to be about the shot, and Kalinka has not been able to hit it. Bit goes up close and personal and finishes it off with a headshot. Massive play from the Na'Vi Junior rifler to end Train with a huge quad kill.
Yeah, that was finishing the map in style. A little bit too many rounds gifted to Hellraisers, but they do manage to shut them down, and that is going to be the map pick of Hellraisers going in favor of Na'Vi Junior.
Indeed it is. What an impressive performance from the Na'Vi Junior squad to claim a victory on this opening map. They now head on to their pick with a 1-map advantage in the series. Are the Hellraisers in trouble in this decider matchup? Find out after this quick break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Well, in our decider best of 3, it's already been a bit of a strange one on the first map. HELLRAISERS having a nightmare on their T side, only scoring a single round and ultimately leading to a Na'Vi Junior victory on that first map, despite a minor HELLRAISERS resurgence on the CT side. Now we head on to Vertigo as our second map of the series. That is the pick of Na'Vi Junior. And just disregard the maps that you're seeing on the screen at the moment. This veto is actually Train first, Vertigo second, and Dust 2 third as the decider. Heading into Vertigo, this one could be very interesting indeed. My name is Protalis, and talking you through the second map again with me is DK Truman. How are you feeling ahead of Vertigo?
Well, I'm pretty anxious for HELLRAISERS. Their T-side performance was pretty much non-existent in that previous map, where it got a little bit dicey still at the end because their CT looked pretty good. But the next map is, of course, a T-sided affair, and it is on a map that, I mean, if you check out Na'Vi Junior's history, they have won mainly everything on it, except when they ever face Gambit youngsters. Like, that's the only losses they've had since the 8th of June. And that would be very worrisome for HELLRAISERS because they haven't had that great of a performance on it. Yeah, they beat Honor. They beat Kova on it, but they lost against Apex, Hard Legion, Alternate Attacks, AGO, Nexus, Fate, Singularity. Not very great for them. So with that previous performance in mind, I would be very scared for HELLRAISERS in the upcoming map.
Oh, certainly. This could be a very dangerous one from the HELLRAISERS perspective. Even in their match up against Honoris earlier, it was a 16-13 victory. Very close in that regard. And whilst Na'Vi Junior did have a bit of a close affair against their opponents, the Lyngby Vikings, that was a squad I'm fairly certain they won't have even prepared for, as they were expecting to face off against Godsent in the opening best of one of the days. So I definitely think that Na'Vi Junior are the favourites heading into this second map, especially considering how weak that CT side was from the HELLRAISERS side on Vertigo against Honoris. It was really Lyngby Vikings on the CT side of the map where they put up a decent fight against the Na'Vi Junior squad and were able to dismantle them a little bit, with Na'Vi Junior just about coming out on top at the end of things. So that is very dangerous for HELLRAISERS. They are going to need the complete opposite of Train. They're going to need an incredibly strong T-sided start on Vertigo if they want an opportunity to stay in this series.
Yeah, they definitely are going to need to win again that knife round. It's going to be pretty crucial in this game. One big plus, though, I would say, is the fact, of course, that not such a heavy op map. And we did see JR lose against Gospa like about 80% of the duels, so they don't have that one to really be that worried about. And the riflers can more chime in, and we can see a little bit more Flarich stepping up to the plate. And Kalinka also a very good fragger. And of course, Jalem, as long as he just, dodges all the utility on the map, he should be just fine. Train was a little bit problematic for them in all regards, but it's pretty much just try and forget that one. Refresh, just take away the fact that you, of course, won the previous series, the previous map that you played up against Honoris, and use that one, because Honoris is a pretty good team, and that is definitely a booster on a map like Vertigo that you need.
Well, certainly, and the loser of this best of 3 series is going to be dropping down and playing against the winner of the Lyngby Vikings Honoris series that's on that other stream. If HELLRAISERS fall apart here on the second map, it's looking like it will be them. And even when you look just a bit further into the map, with Dust 2 as the decider, things really don't bode well for HELLRAISERS in this series. It felt like, for my money, the fragging was just totally dominant from Na'Vi Junior in that first map. Kalinka leading the way for HELLRAISERS, but Ornka out ahead for the Na'Vi Junior side on 20 kills. That's very telling. not necessarily just how good he was an individual, but how strong Na'Vi Jr. were all round. There were multiple players on that level of fragging for the Na'Vi Jr. squad in that first map, and that's a very scary prospect heading into a second.
Yeah, because they did come back slightly, but Kalinka was pretty much a standout performance there in the end. It took them long enough on their T side. I mean, their CT side was pretty solid. And if they started on the CT side, I'm not sure if Na'Vi Jr. would have actually won that previous map with their T side performance. But that is a shoulda, woulda, coulda, and that does not matter right now. We're going to watch the knife round, which is about to go live and which is very crucial for both teams to try and steal that T side.
Perhaps more crucial for HELLRAISERS than for the side of Na'Vi Jr., as we did see them perform pretty well over on the CT side of things against the Lyngby Vikings. Not a perfect showing, mind you, as there were definitely weaknesses displayed by their CT setups, but certainly able to put up a decent enough scoring of rounds. HELLRAISERS are going to secure that CT start, which is unfortunate for them. If they get off to another weak start here on Vertigo, it's not looking good for them in the rest of the series.
To be fair, the Na'Vi Junior T side against Lyngby Vikings didn't look that great, so it of course is not too problematic just yet. We'll have to wait and see what kind of performance eventually there will be put out in this on this T side, but I would definitely be careful to not peek too many times, because Gaspo is going to be picking up that T side up more times than not.
Well, in the pistol, it's 2 players on utility rather than 3 for Na'Vi Jr., but Problem's just gone straight down the B stairs and found himself some T's. Flaric helping him out there for an early double kill in the pistol, and Na'Vi Jr. now are going to have to go for an unorthodox setup. They pick up a free USPS in the hands of Ornka and now look to wrap into the A site through CT spawn of all places. They might just be able to get an easy bomb plant off the back of this one, and as Jalem does get fined rather early, Topa's opened up for some big frags, but he's in a 1v2 as Problems Julie's fine kills. Flaric nearly puts a death to the round immediately. In fact, he does, and HELLRAISERS win a very important pistol round here at the start of Vertigo.
Yeah, good aggression towards the B side to immediately give at least intel, shut down that push, and they hold the line nicely here on this the side of HELLRAISERS. They will be able to, of course, buy some decent weapons on Na'Vi Jr. if they want with that bomb plant behind it. Let's see how they're going to go for the double AK, triple AK, what their lineup is going to entail. You still have to be very careful because this is one of the most close range maps out in the pool. So a Deagle close range can always tear your face clean off if you're not aware of his positioning.
2 hero AKs this time there. Force buy of the second round of Train didn't work out too well for Na'Vi Jr., but this time they found an opener. That nade can't really follow up on to Topa. The Molotov has a chance to, but he's got time to back away from those flames, so doesn't need to be worrying too much about that particular angle. Gospodarov will eat a little bit of HP, but already so far, it's just utility burn from HELLRAISERS. 1 opening kill, so they dump so many nades down to the bottom of the A ramp, and they have a little bit of impact. Not too much, though, and now they've stretched their own utility out a little bit more for when the execute does come through.
Yeah, the utility now favors the Na'Vi Junior side with that drop weapon. Weapons actually favor this side as well, so HELLRAISERS need to be careful. They've got 1 kit on Flaric. Could play the post plant retake, but they're going to get aggressive towards ramp. Peek out wide, gets bit. That is one of the AKs drop. Capacho is going to be able to Onkar is going to be able to recover it. Unfortunately, Topaz still very low in HP, so you don't really want to give him the AK, and the rest don't have armor behind it. Peek out wide. It's going to be Onkar getting the kill on JR. Pushing towards ramp. They spot a player towards sandbags, and that is going to be problematic for Kalinka. Do they still have a molly? Seems not. Good flash coming in from Flaric, and they're on that A site. Gospa peeking out wide. The bomb has been planted. Flarage gets a kill through the smoke on Topa, and it's now going to be a 2-on-2 situation. They have an HE grenade on Problem, which should land on Ghost. Oh, actually not. Okay, I would have expected them to go for the deep nade coming through, but this is 2 AKs versus an M4 and a FAMAS. They have a kit on Flarage, but there's no one on the bomb. Capacho gets the kill onto Problem, and it's now on Flarage, who's going to go for the defuse. Fake gets the kill on Gospa. Time is ticking down, but Capacho is just keeping him distracted as much as possible. But this is a great angle coming through. Will get the full defuse and will clutch it out for his team. Yes, he will fall in the end, and Navi Jr. will most likely buy behind it. But that was dangerous.
Oh, they do all the work but make the mistake at the last possible moment, Navi Jr. And the odds from our partners over at LootBet suggest that this is going to be a very balanced map. Despite being 2 rounds in the lead, they still feel that the odds do favour Navi Jr. at the moment as they head into a full gun round off the back of the plant and the kills of the last. They actually do have the advantage in terms of weaponry and utility here.
And now they do manage to get themselves a 3-man. Okay, so they're all picking 1 by 1 on the side of Navi Jr. versus, well, pretty much a full defensive firing squad from Hellraisers, and that should be an easy round for the Hellraiser squad. Navi Jr. will be put on most likely an eco into the next, and we're looking at a 4-0 scoreline for Hellraisers to start it off with. On their CT side, definitely very just great for them, all things considered.
This is the perfect start, especially with the way they've claimed victory in this round. Navi Jr. think that they can take the gunfights, but they are definitely wrong on that one. And this could be a perfect start now to the CT side for Hellraisers. They've gotten through the last 2 consecutive rounds, I believe. Or no, rather they get through this round at bare minimum with 5 players alive. That is wondrous news for their economy, especially with Navi Jr. now needing to drop down onto the pistols. If it's another clean one for Hellraisers, it's great news for the start of their CT side.
And that is pretty much it. Yeah, Alcare is going to be buying a little bit behind it. A couple of deagles, a couple of weapons here. It's going to be quick aggression towards that B side. Bit does not get the head chopped off of Problem just yet. Sprayed through the wall, but Bit does not get the kill that he looks for. Capacho, however, does chime in, gets the kill onto Problem. That's a possible push towards the B side possible, but the rotations are now coming in from Hellraisers to defend it. Actually, Jalem is already pushed all the way towards ramp from A, so could hold that flank. The P coming out, if Ankara got that headshot, that would mean A was completely free. Nade comes out a little bit too late, but it does give all the intel they need. Oh, Capacho, great headshot on Flarich. Does not expect Kalinka to be behind the pillar on site in mid. Ghostspot definitely did get spotted out by JR and gets his head cleaned up. Now it's all on Ankar, close range. Will not even get Jalen for his troubles. And 4 for Hellraisers. Decent amount of damage dealt by Navi Jr., but not enough to turn that one around.
4-0 at the start of the CT side, but Navi Jr. can bring weaponry and an AWP out. But it is pretty interesting that their T side of Train didn't look great, and they nearly actually lost control of Vertigo when things swapped over to the T side against the Lyngby Vikings earlier on today. Perhaps Navi Jr. having a bit of a struggle on the offensive side of things here. Just the early nade damage at the start of this round, you can tell some frustration there from Topa as he's not even able to spot out a player and just has to take early damage for basically nothing. Hellraisers are doing a great job in the early round here on Vertigo at keeping Navi Jr. at bay, but Capacho, he may just have found a way into the B bomb site for his team.
Yeah, great flash as well onto JR. Does not get the re-peak advantage and will fall on Kara even in mid. This is just almost a clean sweep right now. Will Jalen be able to at least get himself a kill? Bomb's going to get planted from Navi Jr. Quick aggressive round coming through, and it does shut down this Hellraisers defense. They will most likely save on Jalem. I assume they don't have that much money on the side. Definitely enough for another buy. But if he does not save that AK, it might be a little bit of a shoddy buy.
Even with the saved AK forward, not going to be great. The issue is the cash disparity. Problem and Flaric have nothing, but these other three players have enough to work with. I think they are going to bring a buy forward, and they might just be able to get away with it, actually. That AK gets dropped over. There can be a decent amount of utility coming forward. JR probably could even drop a secondary rifle. Actually, he's going to pick up an AWP, so that might mean one player drops down. Instead, though, they can get everyone up on rifles and get utility out on the majority of players. This buy not as dangerous as perhaps it could have been, but it's a real bank drainer. If Na'Vi Jr. come back with another round in quick succession, that could be them well on their way to tying up the scoreline at the start here.
They're going to get aggressive towards B. They actually went 4 players aggressive towards B to start it off with. Does make it still kind of scary because they're double upping in that area a bit. This smoke is deadly. Will they expect 2 players to be that close? Problem and Flairage holding the off angles. And Bit is just playing the jiggle peek game. Molly to try and get Flairage up. There's going to be the flash is going to be off the mark. A little bit too deep there from Problem. It seems Team Flash, his ally, well, got an assist for that flash coming through. And now they're still going to double up on that B site, which means A is rather easy to take. Same with mid is open completely right now. And Na'Vi Jr. are going to use that man advantage that they have to try and get closer towards that A side, which is, of course, easier to execute side. JR towards Fold should be bullied off with utility by this Hellraise defense. Flash comes out. There's going to be the smoke. Ooh. But Dopa even gets the headshot through the smoke. Doesn't matter. Re-molly from Jalem coming through. And close range. They're going to rush through the smoked molly. And that's a double from Topa. He annihilated that A side. It's all on Kalinka to try and save his M4. And are we going to see a repeat from that previous map? Because this just looked really clean from the Na'Vi Junior squad.
The last 2 rounds, they have had the perfect openers, despite in that last one, HELLRAISERS going for some cheeky B aggression. I think the issue with that play is that they'd already done it in round number 2. So Na'Vi Junior were sort of ready for the HELLRAISERS guys to come forward and start fragging. Actually, it was in the pistol round that they early aggressively went down towards the B stairs, but the result is still the same. Na'Vi Jr. worried about some early CT aggression and able to actually win out the opening kills and convert the round. That's 2 back-to-back now for the T side that have had 5 players surviving. And HELLRAISERS, if they want to go for the buy here, they'll certainly be limited. With the loss bonus ramping up, I'm not sure they want to consider it, especially with Kalinka's saved rifle. May just be a hard eco around this M4, unless they decide they want to go for it because of the double up.
Yeah, just say chill on the Hellraise side. Of course, we saw on their T side as well on Train that they're economy management was pretty problematic most of the time. You just should stick to trying to get those advantageous buys, not go for the scrappy engagements, because they haven't been winning those against this Na'Vi Junior squad. Not even close. They just need all the weapons and utility they can muster to try and shut down these players. But Jalem starts to get aggressive towards ramp. That's going to be the opening kill coming through. Kalinka does get spotted walking over the grates past Fold, and that is going to be a 2-man advantage for Na'Vi Junior. Should be pretty much all said and done with just the pistols alive on HELLRAISERS, and a reasonably clean round from Na'Vi Junior. So far, they're using their utility nicely. You really can see that they feel comfortable on the T side of Vertigo compared to Train.
Yeah, way cleaner from the Na'Vi Junior side. Although it is against an E-code opponent in this one, it is still a pretty clean conversion. JR just waiting on the other side of that smoke to get a late round kill, and he will be given the freebie. Recovering that rifle, though, definitely a more difficult job, and he won't be able to get a second kill out of the round. That's 3 now for Na'Vi Jr., and here come the guns for Hellraisers. Rifles out, but no AWP. Very little head armor and no defuse kits either for the CT side at the moment. Meanwhile, Na'Vi Jr. are in a pretty much a dream spot, economically speaking. Carpaccio, Gospodarov, Topa, and Bit, all with plenty of cash in the bank to work with. They have a couple of buys to come forward, even if they lose this round.
Yeah, especially because you're on the T side, so everything's a little bit cheaper. But what's that up in the top of your screen?
It's time to talk about our partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website. It features nearly 100 cases, the updated case battle, upgraded, dozens of giveaways per month, and tons more unique features. It looks like this pause is of a technical nature, and we know that Hellraisers were having some TeamSpeak problems during that first map. So if I had to put any money on it, I'd say it's probably the same issue rearing its head again. We seem to have always had technical problems of some kind throughout these online matches, and quite a lot of the times perhaps it has been TeamSpeak issues as well, but actually it's Na'Vi Jr. who drop a player out of the map. That is going to be Ornka going for the cheeky little reconnect.
Yeah, I mean, at one point you would have to say that people should swap away from TeamSpeak if it's always that TeamSpeak issue. You still have Mumble Vent, you know, old school. Raid call, yep. Skype, let's go. Completely useless. But yeah, it's always those issues, especially in some CIS regions. The net might not be as solid as in other areas. We've seen it in you know, a lot of regions. Actually, there are some issues with you know, power going down, or just in general the net just dying in an entire block. But hopefully he will be able to return soon enough, because Na'Vi Jr. definitely do not want to play with 4 or forfeit the map, which would be even worse. Because, well, that's just always sad to see happen. If a teammate cannot reconnect, it happens in pretty much every esports out there, where you just have those network issues, and giving away default win is never fun.
It really isn't. It would be quite a while before that would have to happen, though, you should imagine. And I mean, that would just be a really rough scenario if his internet has just completely gone down at this point in time. That would certainly be sucky. He isn't the highest fragger on the squad at the moment, though, so perhaps not too much of an issue in terms of fragging. It's actually Gospodarov who's at the bottom of this scoreboard at the moment. Only found 1 kill so far, and we know that this map isn't really trained towards AWPers, especially on the T side, so you can give him a little bit of credit here. But interestingly enough, despite Hellraisers leading the way in terms of rounds, it's Carpaccio and Topa who were going insane. Over 100 ADR for both players at the moment.
That is a pretty massive amount of damage dealt. Of course, if your teammates don't get the kills, you can get all the damage in there you want. It is going to be a pretty long pause, it seems. Of course, he probably just reset his router, waiting until it restarts, you know, then reset the modem, then just pull out your entire net and reinstall everything. And then hopefully he'll be back in time for dinner.
Well, at least for the rest of this map, that'll be the goal at bare minimum. And well, I was perhaps a little bit worried for Na'Vi Jr. At the start of the map, they seemed to be a little bit quiet, but really in the last 3 rounds, they've woken up. This is quite an extended break in play, though, and as they were the squad who was really ramping up in terms of momentum, could be a little bit worrying for them. And just to follow up on a point I was making in the pre-game, actually, they highlighted, I believe it was Ornka as the top fragger over from Train on 20 kills, but Gospodarov and Bit also had 20 kills apiece, with Topa and Carpaccio both on 18. It was a totally balanced scorecard for Na'Vi Jr. over on Train, and as the unpause comes through, we'll have to see whether the entire squad is going to be continuing doing that fragging work here on the T side of Vertigo.
Yeah, they definitely should not slow down right now. They need as many rounds as possible. And my internet seems to have died.
That is very unfortunate for you. I don't mind taking over for a little moment then, as Na'Vi Jr. taking this one fairly slowly at the start of the round, but HELLRAISERS are going aggressive towards that A ramp. Very advanced position for Jalem, who's actually going to come through that smoke off the back of the flash. Thankfully, the bomb's far enough away for the Na'Vi Jr. squad that they don't have to worry too much about losing control of it. They are still waiting for that further aggression. Kalinka, lucky to be alive. There's a missed shot from Gospodarov. Should give him room to maneuver. He doesn't retreat from that Molotov. He jumps forward and drops down. Now, that's going to have been heard by this Na'Vi Junior squad. A lot of Molotovs being deployed by the T's just to garner mid-control at this point in time. And no one from HELLRAISERS is really taking a fight against them.
Yeah, it was just a Chrome issue. It froze up. But we're completely back right now. Of course, Chrome, you know, it still goes potato sometimes with the amount of resources it needs. But as you can see, Problem is the only one with a smoke left on this HELLRAISERS side. So it's pretty much going to come down to aim duels on their end. Do they expect flares that close, though? No, they do not. And Flare Age doing so much damage. Kalinka from behind as well. Gospa will at least get himself a second round kill of the game. But it is going to be Gospa alone with the op. And yeah, this does seem like a quick round. Well, not quick round, but HELLRAISERS shutting down this Na'Vi Junior defense. They were completely ready on that B site for a push to come through. And an excellent defense. This pause might really have hurt Na'Vi Junior massively.
They still have cash to bring a buy forward, but I'm really not a fan of those standard mid-executions on the T side of this map. It's just such a tough angle to push because there's virtually 3 positions that the CTs can utilize to shoot you down from, and you only have one place to go. You sort of have to go through that opening window, and if you find yourself in the position that Na'Vi Jr. did in that last round, you have players in the window, so there's a crossfire set up deep in the site, but there are still 2 more angles in mid that allow there to be a crossfire set out towards the backlines as well. So you're really in a serious amount of trouble if you end up doing a mid execution without having found any kills onto the CT side. Unfortunately for Na'Vi Jr., they weren't able to take control of that round. That's given some much needed breathing room over to this HELLRAISERS squad, and with a double entry here, it could be all signs of life. A quick reply is necessary though from Na'Vi Jr. as JR pushes forward. He's taken down by Carpaccio, and Kalinka is put under extreme pressure now.
Yeah, he has to perform heavy, but there are 2 players towards Fold. Flash comes out. They dodge the flash. However, he still managed to get one, and it's all on Gospa. Nade will tank him sky high, and that's going to be another one for HELLRAISERS. 6-3. I mean, that was a godlike pause in favor of them because now they finally have seemed to recover.
I mean, really, Kalinka there, what a hero in the A bomb site. Basically took all 3 of them down. They were just not able to clean away the one player. And really, it was that one flashbang. Both players peeking towards the back of Fold. They had to turn from the flash, and then it's all said and done at the end of the round. Na'Vi Jr. can still bring the guns out, and probably bring the guns out in the next round as well, as they'll have a stage 2 loss bonus on their side. But Bit, he's just eaten that HE grenade for breakfast at this point in time. And Na'Vi Jr., they're allowing HELLRAISERS a hell of a lot of CT-sided rounds. 2 more, and this could be a very dominant half, as Na'Vi Jr. would be on an eco.
Yeah, they already have the intel towards that B site. We see a Problem. He's going to go on the flat. Oh, no, he's just going to hold the angle. But they know that there's nothing B. So 1 player mid, the rest towards the A site. It's going to be full-on A execute coming out from Na'Vi Jr. They have a lot of utility. HELLRAISERS a little bit less. But look at Kalinka. He's trying to go for the flank. Going to get spotted out by Onker. But still, Kalinka goes for the deep peek. Will get the kill. is going to get pushed out right now, though. Does he expect to play it close? No, he does not expect Carpaccio. Every single time I say that word, I keep getting hungrier and hungrier. Carpaccio.
I'm going to pretend as though I know what you're on about there. Unfortunately, I do have no clue. Gospodarov looking around with an AWP. This is a really interesting one. Na'Vi Jr., they've slowed down a lot here. They could be under some time pressure when they push into this A site.
You don't know what carpaccio? That's like the very thin slammed meat that they use with salads.
Okay, that's just called ham in England.
Okay, I'm so gonna send you a picture in a sec. You definitely should know what it is. But yeah, it's Italian stuff. There's gonna be a kill from Gospa, though. Gets flared. JR close range. Tries to deny the bomb plant. Well, actually should have gone for the hero play possibly there. And there's gonna be the retake situation coming. Maybe it's not called carpaccio in... I assume it is in English, but yeah, it's gonna be them saving their weapons. They don't have any money on the Hellraiser side of things either, so they kind of need to save these guns into the next. And Na'Vi Jr. broke that Hellraiser economy after losing to themselves. They just need to win that one, and they smack them down.
To be honest, though, this is already a promising start from Hellraisers on the CT side. 7-3 up. Yes, they have to take an eco next, which is probably... Well, sorry, 6-4 up, and they have to take an eco that should allow Na'Vi Jr. to get 6-5. But it's not impossible that they convert an 8-7 round half at the end of things here. And that really would be much better than their CT performance up against Honores. They were only able to win 5 rounds on their CT side against the Polish squad earlier on in the day, so they were already made a better showing on their CT side than they did earlier on. And Na'Vi Jr. off the back of that pause, perhaps they might be a little bit worried. They need to start waking up and probably take all of the rounds left in this half, because their CT side didn't look too perfect against the Lyngby Vikings earlier.
Yeah, that one-way smoke, these caliber of players, they definitely know that there's almost always a player playing the one-way smoke angle if you go for that sneaky play. And he just gets completely annihilated. It's going to be that B push coming through. A lot of damage being dealt by the Na'Vi Junior squad so far. They're stacking up on this Hellraiser's defense, but it is absolute annihilation coming through. JR on site with his AWP in hand. Tries to deny something, but they're just going to be forced to save another round. And that is the economy of Hellraisers completely destroyed. And, well, luckily, if they manage to keep these weapons alive, it might not be the case. The flank coming out towards B, but Carpaccio might have been heard. No, they did not hear him. AWP drop, peeks out wide, and that's going to be Carpaccio getting himself a double. Great job, and that should be an easy 6-6 for Na'Vi Jr. now.
Should be the free 6th round from the tees off the back of those 2 kills. He's up on 12 at the moment, leading the way for his squad. Topa following up on 9 kills as well. But, I mean, that pause had a huge amount of impact. It took a couple of rounds for Na'Vi Jr. to get going, but once they did, they certainly looked like a dangerous force on the T side yet again. Now, Ornka in a bit of trouble against these USPs, finds at least 2 of them, but it's 1 AK perhaps given away. JR might actually just get a 2nd kill there, and Kalinka hunts for a 3rd, but will only get a dink. It's a rather quick eco dealt with at 6-6. Hellraisers hunt down another buy now, and potentially this round could determine the way the rest of the half will go. With a Hellraisers loss, it's probably going to be a 9-6 for Na'Vi Jr.
It's looking pretty much like, I mean, after that pause, of course, they had to recover for a little bit, and it does look like they recovered again, and now it's all the Na'Vi Jr. show. They like that good aggression, but what's kind of surprising is the fact that Gospa is playing without armor on the AWP. A little bit of an oversight there, especially if you have 8.7k still left. Peek out wide from Jalem is going to get a one and done. 1-man advantage for Na'Vi Jr. right now. And they're actually heading towards the B side, which is completely left empty by the Hellraiser squad. Problem towards mid is going to get flashed off the angle. They have the information they need and should be able to get the bomb plant in safely.
Problem drops down to try and survive, but Kozpadarov on that glass cannon going aggressively and shattering Problem in the round. Yet again for Hellraisers. It's 2 rifles alive and 2 rifles that they'd rather save than throw at a retake scenario. 7 rounds now for Na'Vi Jr. Probably going to be an 8th in the next one, and actually there's going to be an interesting economic call to make for the Hellraisers as to whether they buy around these rifles or preserve their cash for the last round of the half.
I would assume they'll go for the preserve their cash if they manage to get... I mean, 6 rounds is not that bad. Their T side is pretty decent for the Hellraiser squad, so I would not be too fearful here. We have seen Na'Vi Jr. on their CT side not perform the greatest either, but it is pretty much gonna be a tough one to call. They are gonna go for the full buy on Hellraisers, it seems. Okay, that is an interesting call to make. Do they have enough utility behind it, though? Because that's where they keep on losing against Na'Vi Jr. Of course, when you want to defend ramp, they always throw like 2 smokes, a molly, 3 flashes, and 2 HE grenades, and then you're out of utility when they actually go for the strike. And again, Na'Vi Jr. with the opening kill coming through. Molly is actually perfectly on the mark, and they're gonna smoke it off immediately afterwards. That's a weird one.
Yeah, a little bit odd there. Perhaps they thought that there was nobody on the angle that they could take advantage of. They're going to try for this B aggression, though, Hellraisers. It's a tool they have in their arsenal, but it's not really the most successful one. It's yielded mixed results throughout the half. This A ramp hold, though, that has been more successful. Flaric there getting a free AK kill has given room for Na'Vi Jr. to maneuver, but it's also found a much needed frag for the CT side. JR, I don't know why he thinks he can get away with that little maneuver. Kozpadarov punishes him severely, but Na'Vi Jr. are changing their efforts. They're changing targets over to the B side of the map, and Kalinka is in an aggressive position that might yield some frags.
Yeah, this is always a sneaky angle, but if they go towards the left side, Carpaccio, yeah, oh, did he spot him out? It does not seem that no one spotted him out. Does not hold the trigger long enough to get the double, and actually, yeah, he just converts his entire spray onto another target, loses his life because of it, and it's Problem close range towards the side. Carpaccio is 1 bullet away from dying. Will get taken out by Problem close range, but luckily there's Anker to help out his boy Gospa. Flaric is gonna get spotted out as well and just executed through the pillar, bullet to the dome, and that is at least this side half advantage for Na'Vi Jr. secured.
They're hunting down the 9-6 scoreline now, and with very limited utility to defend, Hellraisers are going to be turning their efforts to the T side. It's their strongest half of their map, and definitely where they enjoyed more success against Honoris earlier in the day. They'd certainly enjoy a 7th round to work with, though, at the end of the half. JR going to be trying to AWP close range on the ramp, decides to back away as the entries really have been with Na'Vi Jr. throughout the half towards this A ramp. They deploy more utility, but they already have the advanced control. This time Hellraisers are stacking up back into the site and waiting for Na'Vi Jr. to come to them before looking for the shots, and JR, he's found the first one.
Finally wins an engagement to Gospa. They're getting really aggressive, and that should most likely be the final kills coming through. That is Hellraisers getting 7 rounds on their CT side. Not too bad. Let's see if their T side performs better on Vertigo than it did on Train.
Hellraisers had a real nightmare on the T side of Train. 14-1 scoreline in favor of Na'Vi Jr. But now it's a different map and a much different first half for Hellraisers to work with and take forward. They managed to win out the second pistol and propel themselves onto a bit of a winning streak at the start of the second half of Train. Let's see whether or not they can accomplish the same scenario here on Vertigo. The odds from our partners over at LootBet still favouring Na'Vi Jr. quite more heavily, actually, on the CT side of Vertigo, with only a one-round lead in tow.
Kind of interesting might just be the fact that it looks like they might be a little bit more, or just better. I would say so far from what I've seen, Hellraisers have been shut down. Sorry, Na'Vi Jr. have been shut down a couple of rounds on their T side, but they looked pretty good on their T side so far. Let's see if their CT side will pay off. They did dunk 2 HE grenades already behind sandbags, so that's at least some intel gained for the $600 that they spent. But it seems they're going to go for the mid towards A split on Hellraisers. See if their strat pays off. There's going to be the rush through. Here's the steps coming in. And Kalinka, Ankar both chime in. That's why you said mid is very dangerous to push.
Yeah. You need so much utility as the T's, and you're under huge time pressure when you take it as well. Flaric, that's a nice kill to get back, and he's dodged quite a lot of grenade damage there as well, but Gospodarov taking down his teammate keeps the pressure on Hellraisers in this round. Problems found a full HP player though, and this gets dangerous now in mid as Gospodarov is getting shot in the back of the head by his teammates. Flaric only takes something like 10 HP's worth of damage to secure the kills that he does, and Problem has a very close range opportunity here. On to Gospodarov. It's on to Ornka. 5 HP, but he's found the headshot, and has Flaric done himself in terms of time here? He has to sprint towards the A-bomb site. He's got no time to keep his steps quiet, and he knows he has to go for the plant. Ornka could just sit and wait on this one, and Flaric has to commit. Ornka knows it, gets round the corner and secures that kill. Hellraisers mess it up with time at the very end.
That was very unfortunate, but still a good recovery from Onker. 3 kills in that pistol, and with 5 HP manages to clutch it out. Very nice showing, but with that money, of course, from the bomb plant, they're going to go for the force up on Hellraiser's side, and we saw this in the previous map where those force ups can be super deadly.
They certainly can, especially with 4 rifles on the board supporting armor. They got all the kills and the plant. Well, basically all the kills, all bar 1. And that means that they can have whatever rifle they want in this round. And Kalinka, he's taken early grenade damage. Down to about 51, but it's not going to deter him from peeking in towards mid. Gospodarov looks like he wants to have a go towards the A ramp. Those AKs will rip your head off if you're not careful. But Hellraiser's yet to fire a shot. Na'Vi Jr. still don't know what kind of a buy they're up against.
Jalen trying to play around with the smoke a little bit, see if he can get the advantage there. Nade coming in. Topa, close range versus Jalen. This is going to be an important duel. Flash comes out. Peek wide. And Topa will be able to recover just in time, but Onker will not. That is mid open. However, they do have Flaric and Kalinka both really low towards mid, so that is dangerous. JR with the Deagle and Problem right, moving towards B, and that is most likely going to be the BT coming in. Kalinka, wait, what? I thought saw him.
He clearly just wasn't paying attention to the angle. He walks around, he literally looks Kalinka in the face and does not fire at him. He's clearly looking at something else on his screen. No focus, unfortunately, there. And that's really cost Na'Vi Jr. the round now. They have to back away from that retake based off of one individual mistake.
That is always unfortunate to see, but it happens. It happens. Let's see what will be happening in the rest of the round, though. We still have 2 Na'Vi Jr. defenders trying to keep their weapons alive. Topa with the AK, Gospa with the FAMAS. Should be able to keep everything intact unless you accidentally peek out wide. Yeah, that's I mean, with the save, they will have to force up behind it, of course. They are on double eco territory. So they also have a reasonable-ish buy, which they can definitely shut down this Hellraisers push if they do not pay enough attention. But Hellraisers have pretty much everything that they could desire. Full rifles, full utility behind it, and still going to be pretty tough because the utility on the Na'Vi Junior side is rather weak.
Early ramp presence. This time it's much easier to get control of it for the Hellraiser squad. But there's still aggression being attempted. Topa up close and personal with this AK. What a huge passage of play in the ramp. Double opener found by Na'Vi Junior, but they have to reply. And they can't. They've left the players too isolated now. Topa alone can't get anything else, and that's the problem. Na'Vi Junior, you cannot make that play unless you can back the players up, because the refrags come through from the T side, and now you're left struggling again.
That was a hero play from Topa and Bit, but it's, Jalem absolutely just crushed them. Build his team out. That looked super dicey right there, but he just went for the full rush forward towards ramp, and it's now Oncare and Carpaccio, the last two available. Jalem dropping pretty low. Will still get the kill onto Oncare, and that means Carpaccio is the only one left alive for the Na'Vi Junior squad. We're gonna be looking at an probably even scoreline. I mean, they are pretty low. Body tap to Jalem and Flare should be enough to kill them. But will he be able to go for that rotation and get the defuse in time and such? That is the big question here.
Well, I was going to say, it almost looked like Hellraisers were thinking about going back to the B site, but Carpaccio doesn't want anything to do with this. If he did want to try and win the round, he'd have started moving a long time ago towards that A bomb site. Instead, sat towards the bottom of the B stairs. He awaits the hunting Hellraisers players, and will try and get towards the bottom of that ramp to pick up an AK. But it's 9-9 with an eco from Na'Vi Junior on the way. It should be double digits going the way of Hellraisers on this T side, and that's really what they were looking for. A decent performance on their CT half to pave the way for a strong effort on the T half of the map. It's Na'Vi Junior now who are in trouble for the rest of Vertigo.
They need to start recovering themselves, because that is a you can really get butchered on the CT side with the amount of utility you need to try and defend a site. Buying an op is going to be really tough for Gospa in this game, especially because they're just going to bully you with the money the entire time. They have a solid advantage in favor of this Hellraiser side right now with them keeping so many players alive. They should be able to buy up next one, even if they would drop their players here. But Carpaccio with that AK can definitely still do a lot of damage. And you have to be very careful for his positioning in the next round. He is going to get aggressive towards that B site.
Well, not going to get too much done with that AK early on. Just pistols without body armor defending the rest of the A-bomb site. Na'Vi Junior, this is going to need to be some amazing play. Gospodarov has started it out the way that you need things to start if you're going to win a round like this one. He finds a second follow-up headshot. Maybe it starts to get scary for Hellraisers, but even with 3 AKs on the board, that should be a cleaner round. Clean up. This could be interesting. Gospodarov is thinking about it, has spotted Flaric. I don't think they've seen him back there, but he does have to drop away. The AK's rotated in to help defend, but Bit has fallen. Now it's a 4v4. JR's only on 6 health, though. Carpaccio's only on 4. However, that is the vital kill to find. Gospodarov gets a headshot back and actually upgrades onto the AK. That means the Deagle is no longer available, and this one has now gone awry for Na'Vi Junior.
Oncare with that USB should not get anything done, especially not with Jalem backing himself up with that flash. Shuts him down. Nice catch indeed, and that is going to be the Hellraiser squad on double digits. It looked a little bit dicey, of course, if they go for the full smoke execute on the side of Hellraisers. towards that A side, you could be in a lot of trouble. Deagles through smoke can find so many dangerous tags that you need to be very careful if you're gonna go for that push. And a nice defensive hold from Hellraisers, just waiting for the Na'Vi Junior aggression. Nice job from them in that round. But this one is the full buy round. We do have Ghostpower with the op picked up. For the rest, the utility and weaponry is rather weak from this Na'Vi Junior squad. Ghostpower, for instance, doesn't even have a smoke for sandbags if you would get mollied out. There's going to be Topa winning that duel, though, barely taking any damage. They're going to push through towards mid on the Hellraiser side. Ghostpower already rotates in, and that molly is going to block them off. Hellraiser kind of, they don't have any map presence whatsoever. Only mid is going to be their plan here. And will they be able to get that mid control? It is so hard to achieve. Anker even spots out problem boosted and will immediately fall back.
That's going to allow a bit of early map control over, and the flashes might be able to convert that map control into kills, but Bit is FAMAS actually denies any prospect for Hellraisers in the B bomb site. What an important passage of play for the Na'Vi Junior defense, and that's enough to put them up onto double digits. If JR saves his AK, it's going to be a full buy coming through from the Hellraisers. It probably will be anyway, as Problem can just about buy even with the loss bonus. It'll just be Kalinka down in the dumps. He might even get a drop from Jalem at that point. With 20 seconds left on the clock, there might be a bomb plant over on this A bomb site for JR, but I can't see him winning out this 1-on-4 clutch.
It's going to be pretty tough, but as you said, they pretty much do have enough for a buy into the next one. JR's going to go for the full plant. Will not get it off in time. Topa finishes him off. And they will keep 3 AKs on the CT side, so that's especially a big plus, keeping AKs on your end. And Ghostpower with that op. Good shutdown, and just the fact that Hellraisers tried to go for a cheeky mid push, it just got annihilated. They did not have exactly the game plan that they thought that they'd have. They thought that they would out. Yeah, it just got shut down so easily. Not even that much effort put into the defense there on the side of Na'Vi Junior. They just got pushed from all angles.
This time B is the target for the Hellraisers. They're going to try and boost up into the site as well. Doesn't look like they were ready for that Na'Vi Junior, and they are still re-peeking this angle. They want to be a bit careful as they deploy utility. It doesn't find too much damage. Now Kalinka's in the advanced position, and they have to deploy their counter nades to defend against it. He can't walk any further forward though, because Capacho is here waiting, and now he's stopped. He decides to go aggressive, but the smoke provides enough cover for Kalinka to get around that corner, and now if Capacho walks forward, he'll be in danger. Does eventually win out that timing though, and gives them an advantage towards Na'Vi Junior. Topa just about backs off to the smoke in time to get an advantage onto JR. That's the free headshot found with follow-up utility on the way. He's actually going to overstay his welcome, but still gets kills. 3 big ones towards the scaffolding, and Hellraisers have Flaric alone needing a 1-on-5 clutch.
And something tells me he will not get that clutch off. It doesn't even get a bullet off, and that is Hellraisers down in the dumps with their money. Na'Vi Junior in the lead again, and they have plenty of cash for another buy. Even if they lose this one against this full eco, Hellraisers call the timeout. They need to think about their strat book and try to find a magic play to get them back in the game, because they desperately need it right now. It is not looking that great for them. Of course, they are already a map down. If they lose this one, it is well, they are not game over. They will be dropping to the lower the decider match against the winner of Lingby Vikings and Honoris, but it is going to be still problematic because that's not an easy matchup to try and beat those teams. They're also very solid on their maps.
They certainly are. It'll be no easy task to try and get through the next best of 3 in both sides here, trying to avoid dropping down into it. Na'Vi Junior looking to go 12-10 up, as that nade should do quite a bit. They actually do back away just enough to avoid being torn asunder by it, and this double AK setup in mid does need to be a bit careful. They can be overwhelmed by the pistols, but Orca so far is doing a good enough job of keeping his rifle on the board. Jalen alone with another 1-on-5 clutch necessary. Something Na'Vi Jr. are doing well the last couple of rounds is getting through them with all of their players surviving.
Yeah, a lot of money in their banks, and now HELLRAISERS are going to come out with the full buy. They have 5 AKs, decent utility, but will they finally be able to break this defense? It has not looked close in the last couple of rounds. As you said, they pretty much kept all their players alive the entire time, and they need to make, again, you need something to work out in your favor. Get that opening pick. Let's start off with that. Get that opening pick is the most crucial thing you can achieve right now.
Such limited utility available for the T side. 2 flashes, molotovs, and smokes. That's all they really have to work with. Na'Vi Jr., they're paranoid about a B execution coming through in this round. They've got 2 forward on the B bomb site and 1 holding that mid angle. It looks as though it's the correct read, at least for now. They are trying to boost Problem up and find a way into the B bomb site. Orca, that smoke prompts out a Molotov to be deployed in mid as he suspects a mid execution is on the way, but this is actually a B hit. Problem's gone far enough forward to find an early kill onto Carpaccio as well, and that leaves Bit in trouble deep in the site. Problem follows up with that opener, and they found the entries you were looking for. 3-on-5 scenario. I don't even know if Na'Vi Jr. go for this one at this point in time. The B bomb site just dominated by HELLRAISERS and by Problem.
Yeah, great job from HELLRAISERS to make something work in their favor. Hit that B site when they completely were unaware of the possible hit coming through. They just overwhelmed them in seconds, and that gives them a solid advantage here for HELLRAISERS to take this one. Of course, as you said, Na'Vi Jr. just going to save their weapons, or at least attempt to save their weapons. HELLRAISERS kind of do have to be careful, though, if they're going to go for a possible hunt, because they don't have any real money behind it to try and back up this this investment going for those gun drops, whereas the CTs definitely have more than enough cash in their bank accounts to buy into the next and possibly into the one afterwards as well.
This is where things start to get shaky, though, for Na'Vi Jr., because if you let HELLRAISERS get momentum now, and you lose control of that CT economy, I mean, at what scoreline does that even happen? A full buy can come through from Na'Vi Jr. If they lose, it's 12 apiece, and a buy can still come through. They lose again, that buy becomes a lot more dodgy at 13 to 12 up, and you don't want to be ecoing against that kind of a scoreline. This is where the CT economy really starts to get dangerous, but Bit has started off this round incredibly well for the Na'Vi Jr. squad. Completely free opening kill, no damage taken, and a vital frag to find.
Yeah, Bit again coming in with a big kill. They do hear Topa close range with that molly tick coming out, and he's immediately going to fall off the angle because, well, they know exactly what his positioning would otherwise be, and he can definitely get flushed out. Palinka towards the B side, see if he can spot some players, pop their heads over the grate, try and get himself a quick freebie, and it seems that the rest of HELLRAISERS are either going to go and hit that B or mid. It does seem to be mid. Gospa will have to hold that angle with his op. Is going to rotate around and get a better angle in his favor, but it is going to be that B hit. Carpaccio behind the pillar on site is going to get sprayed up, and he drops the bomb. Oh my god, big defense coming out. Flarich with the AK in hand, trying to turn this one in his favor. He's spraying down Carpaccio. Nade is actually going to get thrown up, but Carpaccio already rotated away off the angle, and Topa coming in through the smoke to get the final kill in, and that is HELLRAISERS. Well, they do have a lot of money still left because they kept 5 players alive, but another big round in favor of the Na'Vi Junior squad.
It certainly is. If they can get through this full buy from the HELLRAISERS side, they may just have done enough to 2-0 this Decider series and become your first team advancing to the playoffs of this Malta Vibes Cup. Bit spotted problem there, going aggressive. That gives the info to Topa that they could be rushing into him, and he does further damage, but it's Bit who converts the kills. Huge double to find as Carpaccio takes down Kalinka. This starts to go very badly awry for the Hellraisers squad. JR's glass cannon on this AWP as well. That means Flaric has to go in and do the heavy lifting in this round, and they don't even have bomb control.
I mean, I know Flash has come in and everything, but no one is looking towards ramp. Flaric, ooh, that got a little bit too dicey. Gets himself a double. He had to open it up. Gospa does chime in as well, and is now all on the IGL. JR, 9 kills so far on this map. We're in the 25th round, not having the greatest performance in general today. Of course, on Train, his entire team got crushed, but the op just is not that good of a weapon on Vertigo, and it definitely does show in the opper's kills. Ankar peaks again, and JR easily gets chopped up because no head armor is a one tap, is a kill.
Now, what strategy are Hellraisers going to go with? Are they going to eco and deny, or are they going to force to prevent map point? It looks like they're going to eco, allow Na'Vi Jr. up onto that 15th round, and then try and deny the regulation win from their opponents. No body armor investment, so Hellraisers currently betting that they'll be able to put 4 out consecutively following this round in order to try and claim victory. It's such a tough call to make, but it might just be the right one, as you don't want to be fighting from a 15th round with pistols and barely any utility.
Well, yeah, it's going to be 15-11. We've got Jalem with the P250. See if he can get a cheeky kill. Not that it, to be fair, matters too much. I mean, Na'Vi Jr. have got still plenty of cash. Long-range stabs. Topa's going to win that fight. And Na'Vi Jr., they've got 4 rounds to work with. 4 rounds to make sure that they go to the playoffs first and are done for the evening. Hellraisers, they need to turn it around right here, right now. If they don't, they're going to be facing up against Lingby Vikings or Honorous, who it seems are about to go to their 3rd map.
Yeah, that looks very likely to be the case over on the other stream at the moment. And so, Na'Vi Jr., can they become the first playoffs squad of the day? Topa aggressive and Gospodarov at range. Neither player yet to find a kill. And desperate for damage of this Hellraiser squad. JR is trying for that spam, but nobody's finding Topa. He's now holding for the retreat as Gospodarov is firing off shots with his own AWP. JR is trying to jump peek the angle at the moment. Gospodarov sticking around with that confidence, and he's found the first kill. Taken down the T-side AWPer and added to the worries of Hellraisers.
Yeah, it's also Topa playing that close range fold angle. With Gospa up right behind it, they've run that defense before, and it has definitely paid off. They're going to peek aggressively. Topa actually shuts one down. Jalem is going to go for the duel, which he eventually does lose, but Ankar on the other side of the map got rid of Flaric. Now it's all on Kalinka. 1 versus 4. Has to go for a massive clutch, but it's looking very likely that this is going to be Na'Vi Jr. qualifying for the playoffs, unless Gospa makes a big mistake.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Kalinka picks up the op, will not get the quick shot in, and that is going to be Na'Vi Jr. going on victoriously, and Hellraisers dropping down below.
That's an incredibly strong performance from the Na'Vi Junior side, and really, it all goes wrong for Hellraisers at the very start of the